So, what's up, everyone? I have a new video for y'all. I wanted to sit here and gush about a game that I have just recently replayed after some time, and I played it on Game Pass first, and that was Lies of P. Now, like I said, I played this at Game Pass first, and this was a fantastic experience. But I didn't quite fully realize how much I enjoyed this game the first time. I simply just kind of played through it to see what it was about and just kind of left it at that. And I actually think that did a kind of disservice to myself. So, when recently the new DLC was announced, I took it upon myself to replay this gem to see if it lived up to everything I thought it was. And boy did it, and boy did it even go further than that. So, sit down for just a minute, let me gush to you about Lies of P. So, what is Lies of P? This is a Souls-like from NeoWiz, based on the collective works of Carlo Collodi. In this case, the story of Pinocchio. Or, as one eloquent Steam user put it, this is Dark Souls 3, but instead of the Ashen one, it's an ex-K-pop idol, and instead of monsters, we fight sex dolls and furries. Awesome game. 10 out of 10. I hate how accurate that is. Anyway, in all seriousness though, Liza P reimagines Pinocchio as a dark gothic mystery about an entire city who once embraced and entrusted puppets with just about everything in their daily lives. However, this relationship with their technologically driven counterparts was never perfect, as a tragedy involving a murder by puppet forces Geppetto, yes, that Geppetto, and an eccentric philanthropist and tech wizard Vanini to instill a grand covenant of sorts with 4 laws into each puppet. These were: all puppets must obey their creator's commands, a puppet may not harm a human, a puppet must protect and serve the people and city of Krot, and a puppet cannot lie. And as we can clearly see, that did not last. 2 different but intertwined events spread across the city of Krot. The petrification disease, where victims would be slowly taken over by stone, which was spreading across the city and killing many citizens. And the worst of the two, the puppet frenzy, where puppets started revolting, becoming violent, and destroying the city, its people, victims of the petrification disease, and all what seemed like unanimous orders from an unknown source. This is the core mystery of Lies of P, and where you begin your journey. Now, the deep and fascinating lore of what NeoWiz has built here is a huge reason why this game stands out to me. However, what keeps me coming back even more is the gameplay. And on this front, there's a lot that folks will find familiar. This game basically feels like the love child of Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, with, I guess, some emphasis on parrying from things like Sekiro. Immediately, fans of the Souls-like genre probably know exactly what to expect, as do most others when you mention Souls-like. And you don't know how close you really are, as some of those similarities can be honestly eyebrow-raising, from certain sound effects, like going up and down ladders, for example, to weapons having almost identical attack animations. But, as I always say, if you are going to copy from someone, do it from the best. And the team who designed the combat sandbox definitely understood the assignment. Combat is quick, but not too quick. Parrying has a small window, but not so small that you feel like you're going to struggle to use it. And it eventually feels very natural to use, after some practice, of course. The kind of dance that you also find yourself with enemies, just like in the best of Souls games, is fully here, and you can bring the sweaty palms when facing against this world's gruesome enemies and bosses. Some of these bosses can really punish you, and the mix between normal and fury attacks, which can only be really deflected with a perfect parry, make a lot of the fights very, very tense, because it may just about come down to just parrying that one red attack. There are also a ton of weapons to use over the course of the game, each with very unique moves and special moves that are connected to a kind of power meter that fills when attacking, defending, or any number of things after upgrades. You have your special boss weapons obtained from each boss souls too, that are a big cut above the rest. A lot of this feels familiar in a lot of ways. But then you get things like the cube. They can recharge for different effects to put to you or your teammates, acting like a kind of trump card of sorts for all of you anime fans out there. There is even a more intuitive and, dare I say, impactful weapon durability system with your weapons, as you will have to stylishly, I might add, sharpen your weapons with your badass puppet arm, and later even unlock different effects with those that can have your weapon doing different elemental damage, or even bringing up your stagger damage to bring enemies off kilter to be vulnerable to a fatal attack. Or even make the next few blocks that you block an auto-perfect parry for a little short time. And that's even before you get to the P organ, where you can give substantial upgrades to your character like double dodge, and the ability to hold more amulets and switch between Legion arms, which themselves can be upgraded and changed over the course of the game for completely different styles too. One may have a shield on it for deflecting projectiles, one may have a string for pulling enemies near you, or you to them, another may shoot lightning, another fire, and another poison. There's a lot of different arms and a lot of different abilities here. The amount of combinations in this game are truly numerous and pretty awesome. Oh, and did I mention you can mix and match those weapon blades or whatever else along with the handles of different weapons to make completely new weapons? And then those can be changed and customized with cranks to help you more lean into whatever stats you built your character with. I'm sure that won't impact much. Jesus, man, this game really spoiled us with the options. There is so much customization and freedom involved with the build crafting in this game. And while I've been showing you all of these cool things, I'm sure by now you had to have noticed another standout feature of this game: its presentation. From the first moment, oozes atmosphere and grit, while at the same time still having this sense of awe and fantasy. Each area you visit feels like it's got its own story to tell, because it does. And each trip you go through in these areas feels like a new chapter of a storybook, along with its own tone, theme, enemies, and even music to find. You may start at the heart of the city, but you'll quickly make your way to deep forests, village outskirts, massive cathedrals. Each area is a complete joy to explore and just to look at. And all of it runs buttery smooth. I played this on a PC with RTX 4070, and it was locked at a rock solid 120 FPS with the DLSS set to quality. And even if I turned DLSS completely off, I hovered in the triple digits. And like I had previously mentioned, I had played this on my older build, which was a more modest system with a GTX 1660 Ti, which is a smaller card with 6 gigabytes of RAM. And it's kind of an entry-level card, but it even handled at 1080p this thing on very max settings at a rock solid 60 FPS, of which I capped it. I did not see how high it could go then, but I do know it kept that 60 FPS solidly through the entire way, with maybe some hitches here and there from launch hiccups. But it was a pretty good launch, all things considered. So I also imagine this would run very well on the Steam Deck. After all of that, I'm sure you can figure out I adore this game. And with new DLC on the way, as announced recently, I am super hyped to jump into a brand new adventure with my boy. So I had to make this video because I am now on my New Game Plus 3 playthrough of the game, having about as much fun as I did at the start, which is kind of a crazy prospect after beating this game 3 times already. So tell me, have you played Lies of P? What do you think about it? And are you going to be picking up the DLC when it drops? Or hell, if you haven't played Lies of P, are you going to now? Because I think you should. Also, go ahead and comment down below to add to the conversation. Subscribe if you haven't already to see more from me, and like the video if you enjoyed watching it. Till next time, I've been Havoc Fanatic. Peace.